Welcome back into Twin Cities Live. So get this stat. Back in 2023, over 25 million people traveled to Japan. And you guys can see why. I mean, it is absolutely breathtaking. They have 21 World Heritage Sites. They have so many natural wonders. And the food, my goodness, the food is amazing.
Linda Snyder is here from AAA Minneapolis to share with us 3 different ways to make the most out of the trip. And this is one of those trips, Linda, A, welcome, but B, that you want to plan out because you want to maximize your time. And I think there's a real language and cultural difference too. So I think bringing in the experts to help you plan your trip is probably really important.
Yes, you know, we talk about Europe so much and people going to Europe, and now, you know, people are wanting to do different things and explore more of the world. And Japan, you know, after COVID was closed for so long, that it's really kind of the up-and-comer at this point. People want to go back, and they're hearing more things are, you know, there's more opportunities to get there.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're going to just highlight 3 ways to see Japan.
Yeah. So one of the options you brought up is cruising and using cruise ships, and I never really thought of that before because I don't know. I just think that you just fly in and you just kind of, you know, get around like you normally get around, but you forget that Japan is a series of islands. You know, so there's water everywhere.
Right. So you can do a number of the cruise lines do Japan itineraries and. You know, typically you'll fly into Tokyo and then you'll go into the great places that you want to see. You know, Hiroshima, you're going to see everything. Kobe, the seaside city of Kobe for, you know, Kobe beef and
we want to eat that.
There's islands where you're going to, you know, enjoy fresh seafood and, of course, sushi. That
we're going to have here in a few minutes.
You're going to have here.
So how many days of a cruise do you think, I'm sure there's different itineraries.
There's different itineraries. There's even really short ones, like four days, which you could add something else onto. But there's itineraries that are about 12 days. Are perfect. So fly into Tokyo, stay a couple days maybe in advance so you get your acclimated to the time change and the long flight, and then do your cruise. And you're back in Tokyo and come home.
That's a nice way to go too, because then you don't have to navigate traveling within the country.
And you don't pack and unpack and all those things that we've talked about cruises before.
That makes it easy. Okay, so going by rail and kind of doing a more independent trip. What if you've got a real adventurous spirit, you want to have boots on the ground, and you want to be traveling through the country? First of all, this looks like a super sweet.
I mean, these bullet trains.
Bullet trains are, you know, amazing, and they apologize if they're early. They're very spot on to the time. It's like you can plan exactly the time, and they're, you know, sleek and beautiful. So if you are adventurous, you still should plan ahead. Get the rail pass that will get you all over the country, and then have an idea of where you're going to go, so you can do, you know, hotels in advance. You know, we can craft something where you're taking sushi making classes or cooking classes, sake, tasting, all of those things. So you can have a plan in place, but still be independent.
That's okay. I think that's great, because those are the things too that sometimes if you've never been to a place, you don't really conceptualize how long you want to spend in a certain city before moving on. And I think that's the help that the experts at AAA can really offer you.
Exactly, and tell you, you know, figure out what's important to you to do and see, and then offer some suggestions.
So that pass works just like a bus pass or a subway pass. Like you can hop on and off whenever, however you feel. You're not stuck on this tour for
your rail passes in Europe. You know, where you can hop on a train, or you make a reservation for a train. So it's a great idea.
I want to do that anyway, because I've heard about those bullet trains, and they are very fast and they are very sleek and very cool. So I'd like to go on this. What is this thing called with the AAA President's Tour? What can you tell us about that?
So, you know, we've talked about group tours a lot, and if you're adventurous and you want to go somewhere like Japan, but you don't want to go by yourself, go with a like-minded group. And our president of AAA Minneapolis, take him, he has been to Japan many times, and he's hosting a trip. So you go like your come-along trip. So people, you know, he will be the host, but it's November 1st to the 12th. And this is a land tour, so the same thing. You don't have to plan anything. We have the plans, and there's someone there to take care of you the whole way.
The whole way, yeah.
But there's a lot of fun things that
what are some of the highlights?
Will come up there as well. You know, you're going to stay in a ryokan hotel. Those are the ones with the futons and you know, the traditional old hotel where you take your shoes off and all of that when you walk in. But there's going to be a cooking class, tea tasting, you know, bullet train rides, all kinds of things within this tour.
Even a day trip to Mount Fuji.
Yes, so you're going to see Mount Fuji, which, you know, I know we saw.
That's in the background.
Oh my
all those
gosh,
pictures, right?
magical.
So, you know, Japan has the architecture and the culture and the new and the old and the, you know, pop culture, all the things.
Well,
So-
what's helpful about that too is when you're talking about like some of these, you talk about going to different Buddhist temples. I mean, then you also have the experts there to help you just make sure that you're culturally appropriate. You know, like, hey, when you go in here are the things that you want to do to be respectful. I think that stuff is really important and really helpful.
Right, you're going to have somebody along to explain all those things. I mean, we've all been places where you're like, oh, I guess I should have. I guess I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Or people look at you in funny ways. So,
I know.
Yeah, so it's a beautiful country, and you know, it's something that we all probably want to see.
Oh, I
now
want to see Japan.
Japan is at my top of my list for Asia. I've never been anywhere in Asia.
I haven't either. Yeah, and I've heard nothing but great things about it. The food, the culture, the tradition. I mean, this is the traditional things that they do that they carry over from centuries and centuries. I mean, I think it's very cool. Something that we kind of lost here.
And it's beautiful. You know, it's just the beauty. You've got that big major city, Tokyo. You know, just bustle. But then you go out and you see these beautiful temples and the, you know, cherry blossoms and all these, the gardens.
Thanks, Linda.
Thanks, Linda.
You're such a treat. Okay, to learn more about the tour that we talked about today, you can attend an in-person meeting. Look, we've got all the information right there about the President's Tour. You can also visit Minneapolis. AAA, Minneapolis.AAA.com. I got there. I was reading it right off the screen.
Yep.
And then they can connect you with a travel professional. We've got a link for you on TwinCitiesLive.com.